Days are long, but the years are short. We say that about our kids growing up, but the same is true about our parents growing older. And if you're caring for your parents, living longer isn't always the same as living better, but it can be. Carolina Impact's Jeff Saunier introduces us to some people proving it's possible. Jeff?
Yeah, we're at the Aldersgate Retirement Center here in Charlotte, where they're finding out that dwelling on the past isn't necessarily a bad thing. Not when those memories, those years of experience from years ago, can also benefit so many other people today.
You're in.
At every retirement home,
Put your other ball somewhere in here.
there are life lessons
Good shot, good shot.
we can all learn.
We have retired professors, clergymen, medical people. We might be old, but we're not doddering, you know. So.
Life stories we can all share.
The thing about it is we're dying out, and there's not going to be anybody left to tell those stories.
Sometimes all we have to do is just ask and then listen.
All day long, whether rain or shine, she's a part of the assembly line. She's making history, working for victory. Rosie, the Riveter.
We took damaged planes that they brought in at Mars Field here in Charlotte, and we would go out and take that piece of metal off of the fuselage, and then we would rivet that. It would take two people, one to use the rivet gun and one to buck the rivets.
Dot Horn's been telling that story about her work experience during World War II to family and friends for years. And now, at age 96,
Getting on up there, I tell everybody I'm old as dirt.
Dot's retelling her story, this time to an audience on a stage.
I was one of the Rosie the Riveters. Many a day I'd fill my mouth full of rivets. I'd do one, they'd buck the rivet, I'd do another. I was just spitting rivets.
Dot and the 6 others on stage are all part of a storytelling project called Acting Our Age. All seniors, all living here at Aldersgate, all meeting once a week to write down what they remember from their past. It's sort of a group diary, a collection of stories that they read back to audiences as a living history lesson.
And we took blueprint and theory and math, and then in the afternoon we worked with the drills and the rivet guns. It was the time that everybody pulled together, worked together for America, for the war effort. But you didn't hear people complain about it because it was something we knew we had to do.
Other stories recall a time we weren't so together.
200,000 people converge on the nation's capital to rally for civil rights.
I have to move from the back of the room to the front lawn. I'm going to take up your challenge to go to the March on Washington.
This has been one of the great days of America, and I think this march will go down.
And then there are the personal stories, group members talking about the moments in their lives that changed their lives.
When I was 70 years old, I found out that I was adopted.
There's some pathos in our stories. There's some humor in them. There's some hard knocks that are in there.
You'd think after 30 years of hard knocks in the business world,
Industrial engineering, human resources, operations management.
George Moffitt would be ready to take it easy.
There's a caliper that goes on.
But when he's not teaching neighbors the finer points of bocce, George is also using his work experience to mentor younger workers.
Good to see you.
How you doing?
Here at the retirement center, the housekeeping crew and kitchen staffers he sees at Aldersgate every day.
But I think there were 10 people finally who graduated from our group. I believe every one of them has gotten a better job within Aldersgate, or in a couple cases outside of Aldersgate, because of the training.
How you doing, Mr. Marquez? I'm all right.
Quay Houston met for 10 weeks with George while working his normal shift here at Aldersgate, sometimes over coffee in the cafeteria.
Quay had no computer skills at all. And I saw it, but he had a lot of love for baseball.
He used to make me put RBIs, home runs, batting average, and everything. He used to put it in a spreadsheet where I would understand.
And I saw an opportunity to use baseball statistics in such a fashion that he would learn something about making a spreadsheet.
And after a couple of weeks, I started getting it.
Quay came out of his shell. And we found out that he was an insightful young man, had good ideas, wasn't afraid to share them by the end of the program.
That's the wisdom that's passed on from generation to generation.
Gerontologist Dr. Lyndall Hare oversees both the mentoring program here at Aldersgate and the Onstage Acting Our Age project, which is now being made into a documentary, capturing the stories that slip away in so many other retirement communities.
I mean, we all know that when we work with elders, there are lots of stories. And my hunch is that in every retirement community in this country, you know, there are the equivalent astounding stories.
Thank the Lord that I can still remember to be able to tell them. And it was literally a part of my life that I lived that I would never forget.
Yeah, I love hearing Dot's story. Love hearing all the stories here at Aldersgate. They're the kinds of stories that never really get old, but also might never get told unless you ask someone who is getting old, to tell their story. Amy?
Thanks so much, Jeff. We've made a commitment here on Carolina Impact to explore more issues that help us all live our best life.